I'm Angela Wamboy, and these are the stories making headlines on Capital TV. The killing of a lawyer, his client, and a taxi driver continued to generate reactions across the country, even leading to the burning of an administration police camp where the three were detained before they met their brutal murders. Hundreds of demonstrators, mainly motorcycle operators, set Siyukimau AP camp ablaze on Wednesday afternoon, saying it should serve as a monument in honor of lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwendwa, and taxi driver Joseph Moirore. The move to torch the administration police camp is a culmination of countrywide protests by lawyers and civil society activists who are demanding an end to extrajudicial killings blamed on the police. This afternoon, hundreds of lawyers held demonstrations to the Inspector General Joseph Boynet's office, calling for his resignation or sacking over the killings. Boynet has assured them that his office will do everything to ensure justice prevails in the killings. Despite the progress in the ongoing investigations, some lawyers want the IG, his deputy in charge of administration police Samuel Arachi, and the Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Kaiseri to resign. On Wednesday, the High Court heard how lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwendwa, and their taxi driver Joseph Moirore were tortured before they were killed. Pathologist Andrew Kanye Gashie told High Court Judge Luka Kimaru that Kimani sustained 14 injuries, including to his genitalia. He reported that Kimani had his testicles crushed prior to dying from the blunt force trauma to his head.
My lordship, I would probably, since the details will come later on, it is, I think, and very, very unfortunate to mention that part of the bodies that were injured were the genitals of the writ. And my lordship, having worked in the area of torture, sometimes we do say that some death can be extremely painful, especially it appears for some reason the torturers or whoever was inflicting these injuries seem to have had an affinity on the testicles and they crushed them. In a summary, we formed an opinion as to the cause of death of the late Kimani, and we said that the cause of death of the late Willie Kimani Kinothia was head injury due to blunt force trauma.
He went on to report that Kimani's client, Mwendwa, died from blunt force trauma to his head, neck, and chest, while Moirore, the taxi driver, died from asphyxiation caused by strangulation and with blunt force trauma as a contributing factor. Meanwhile, telecommunication company Safaricom has denied withholding information that could lead to the apprehension and successful prosecution of the administration police officers who are suspected of having colluded in the abduction, torture, and murder of human rights lawyer Willie Kimani and two others. Through lawyer Stephen Kiptenes, the mobile telephone operator says it has handed over all the information required of it by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Even then, it has sought to make clear that the role it plays in investigations is limited to the information it is allowed to collect for billing purposes, and that it risks losing its license should it operate outside those parameters. The Law Society of Kenya, led by Charles Kanjama, is however not convinced that Safaricom cannot pinpoint the exact locations of its subscribers using its base transserver station or possess details of correspondence. It therefore wants the High Court to compel the company to provide these details in interest of identifying the other administration police officers who may have been involved in the abduction, torture, and finally murder of Kimani, his client Josephat Mwendwa, and their taxi driver Joseph Moirore.
In respect to the investigations of that very heinous murder of Advocate Kimani and his three companions will be done to the fullest. I do not want to say no stone unturned. I want to say that we will do as police all that we are required to do to ensure that justice is done. And it is not only done, but is truly seen to be done.
Still with court matters, Rosa Associate Director Federico Rosa has been remanded in custody for 2 more days before he appears in front of the court on Friday to take a plea on any charges that will be held against him. Federico, an Italian national who was arrested yesterday by the Anti-Narcotics Unit, appeared before Nairobi's Kibera Principal Magistrate Bernard Ochoi this morning to hear the application, where he was booked with offenses related to doping. Federico's defense counsel wanted their client released on bond as the investigation goes on, but the principal magistrate denied bail, ordering him to be detained for a period of 2 days at Gigiri police station. Rosa's former employee, Claudio Berardelli, was also arrested last night in Eldoret and is expected to be interrogated by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations over the same case.
I have considered the nature of the charges that the police intend to prefer against the suspect. I have also considered the explanation given that some of these witnesses are out of Nairobi. I find the application is not unreasonable, and the investigating officer deserves time as sought. In order to safeguard the rights of the suspect, however, who is presumed not guilty, and considering the statements by the investigating officer that the investigations have already begun and are ongoing, I will direct that the suspect be remanded until Friday this week, that is the 8th of August, when he will appear before court to take plea. Any charges will be preferred against him.
A section of Muslims celebrated Eid today by breaking their month-long fast and abstinence after the moon was sighted on Tuesday. Capital Newsbeat spoke to Muslim faithful who held their ceremony at the Railway Training Institute in South B, attended by the Judiciary's Chief Qadis. Matters on extrajudicial killings, terrorism were not left out either, with many urging the government to address the matter urgently. They also called on politicians to preach peace and not to cause a drift, especially now that the country is gearing up for the general election next year.
We pray for this country. First of all, unity and cohesiveness. That is my wish all over. Because the enemies of God, the enemies of civilization, the enemies of unity, wishes for us bad, to divide ourselves on ethnicity, to divide ourselves on religious background, which will be, I know, since I was a born Kenyan here with this age of mine, that will never happen.
Let's not be cheated. Gone are the days when the politicians would come and speak whatever they want to speak and radicalize us, and you go outside there on the streets to fight on their behalf. Where are their sons? If they're really fighting for freedom, their sons should be on the front line. But where are they? Where are their families? So my fellow citizens, peace, peace, peace.
And that's a wrap-up of the day's top stories. I've been your host, Angela Wamboy. For more on these and other stories, make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel at Capital FM Kenya. And to all our Muslim faithful, we wish you a happy Eid Mubarak.